All right, everybody, welcome to today's video. Today's video, we're hooking up the air compressor, stage one. Just gonna get the air compressor wired up, installed. Locker's gonna have to be put in afterwards, but trying to find placement where I was gonna put the tank and everything else. Ideally, I wanted the air compressor kind of sit down on that slope. It's not gonna happen, so it's going to have to fit right there because of this short cable. There's not a lot of movement, so to speak, and I need to run this on-off switch back here, so hopefully it's not going to interfere with the seat belt, hopefully. And first thing I guess we're going to do is start putting all the fittings in.
The first thing to do before you get started is to assemble all your fittings in your tank where they're going to work out best for you. One of the mistakes I did is that all the fittings had some sort of sealant on them. However, it didn't work too well as far when it came to filling the tank full of air, and I had a bunch of air leaks, so I had to go out and put some thread tape on them afterwards.
Tank's assembled. So now I'm going to throw the tank up. Find a place where I'm going to mount it. Now, some people are probably gonna ask why I didn't mount this tank underneath, and it's because I have dual fuel tanks underneath. So underneath the Jeep, there really isn't any room there either. This thing is rather quite full. Even the tank says rusted tank can cause explosion and severe or fatal injury. The same goes for the air compressor. I just need to see roughly where it's going to line up and fit. And then wonder why they went with the Phillips for the air compressor bolts. Just need to take this braided hose, some tape on it. So this is just going to be a temporary fit up for right now, because I have to modify it to fit. So I'm just gonna cut that off right there. I'm just gonna run this hose probably just underneath for right now. I could definitely chop off a bit more, but what do I do with those cutters? Shut her down. Shut her right down.
Now comes the fun part, running the wires. Really is only two wires that you have to run, and that is your power from ignition source, a trigger source, and a ground. Everything else will just connect together. That is the ground from the air compressor that I'm just attaching to the side of the roll bar there, then plugging in from the air compressor to the pressure switch.
So the reason why I got two wires on this one here, because one's supposed to be a trigger from ignition on, but it's going to be powered always. So even when the vehicle's turned off, the air compressor can be ran. Now when the aux beam box is set up, the trigger's going to be ran to that. But for right now, this is how it's going to be ran. That's why I got two wires. So I need to plug into that wire right there. So then this ground that was ran from the other 12-volt power accessory, I'm going to plug it into the ground coming off the box. Now there's only 2 more wires left to connect. And that's this one here. It says connect to trigger switch positive. And then this wire right here that was supposed to come from a key ignition. Those are both going to be tied up in the back of here, back of this switch here. And after those are connected, we're ready to fire it up. You can see right there where those ones ran. All right, if everything's wired correctly, I should just be able to turn this on. It's actually pretty quiet too. 9. Feeding in 100 some PSI. 19.4.
So before I clean up the wiring, I like to try it out first to make sure everything works properly. And I was just filling up a tire and everything seems to be looking good. Everything's running good. I had a few air leaks that I talked about earlier that I had to take some fittings out and put some thread tape on them because that sealant that was on them didn't work. Sealed it all up. So tank is pretty solid now. And I got some wire loom on the wires to clean it up a little bit, tidy it up as I do some testing now and see if I need to make any changes. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If any questions or comments, post them below. See you in the next one.